Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to talk about MPT-7B. This is a powerful large language model in the same league as Llama 7B, but most importantly, it's open source and you can use it commercially. Now, if you have been playing around with the AI tools in the market right now, you've probably heard of GPT and GPT-4. Now, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And just like that, since this is by Mosaic, MPT stands for Mosaic Pre-trained Transformers. Now, if this is your first time to my channel, I want to welcome you and recommend you to sign up to my AI newsletter. The link is in my description. I've been working on different kinds of AI workflows for things like making money with AI tools that I'm soon going to start sending out in this newsletter. Alright, let's get started. So what exactly is MPT-7B? According to Mosaic ML, it's a transformer trained from scratch on 1 trillion tokens of text and code. Now, if you have been watching videos on AI models, you might be hearing this word tokens thrown around a lot. And a lot of YouTubers assume people know what that means, but I don't make any assumptions. So before going ahead, I want to explain what token actually means. In short, tokens can be thought of as pieces of words. For example, if you have been using ChatGPT, regardless of whether it's the free one or the paid one, you probably get your responses in chunks of text. So every time it generates a bunch of text, it uses up a bunch of tokens in the background. And if you have been using OpenAI Playground, you might have seen the prices as 3 cents for 1,000 tokens. That means for 3 cents, it's using up 1,000 tokens, and every token is generating 4 characters in English. So 1 to 2 sentences is approximately 30 tokens being used up. So now that you have a general idea of what tokens means, you can see that MPT-7B has been trained on 1 trillion of those tokens, both containing text and code. Now, this training was done on a Mosaic ML platform, taking around 9.5 days with zero human intervention and costing around $200,000. Now, if you do some research, you're going to see that OpenAI's GPT-4 costs quite a bit more than this. Now, the MPT or Mosaic ML pre-trained transformer models have been released in a set of 4. Now, I'm going to go over all of them in a few minutes, but I wanted to go over some main features that all of these models have that are important to know. Now, the first and the most important feature of this MPT model series is that they are licensed for commercial use, unlike Llama. That means these open source models can be used to build something which can be sold for profit. And like I already mentioned, it has been trained on 1 trillion tokens, similar to Meta's Llama model, versus 300 billion tokens for Pythia and 800 billion for StableLM. So the quality of results should eventually be in the same league as some of the other models that are already out there. Now, the next feature is actually pretty unique. One of the models MPT has produced is capable of handling extremely large inputs, due to this technology called Alibi. What this means is instead of being able to provide just a few paragraphs of text, you can actually provide an entire book as a prompt. Now, if you want to see a visual comparison on this, they have provided a handy table where you see GPT-4, which is the paid version of ChatGPT, is not even in the same league. And since they haven't released the GPT-4 32K token version to everybody, this one doesn't even count. And also, like you see with the colors here, the gray ones are not open source. The other open source models till now have not been that strong until MPT-7B, where you can provide a 65K token input as a single prompt. So from this table, this looks like a clear leader, but we still have to see how good it is. Now, they do say that they have tested this out using the Great Gatsby as a prompt input, which is around 67,873 tokens, and made it write an entire epilogue from that storywriter model. Now, the model I keep talking about here is called MPT-7B Storywriter. It's a model designed to read and write fictional stories with super long context lengths. Now, the catch here is that to run this yourself, you need a pretty strong system, and they used 8 80 gig GPUs just to demonstrate the one here with 84,000 tokens. Now they do have a demo here on Hugging Face Spaces, so I'm going to test this out. Now it's important to note here that this demo currently uses a single A100 GPU, so the maximum sequence length you can use here is 10,000. Of course, if you do want to run it on your own GPU, you can download the model from Hugging Face, or you can duplicate the space and skip the queue and run it in a private space, but that's going to cost you some money. Now, to test this out, I'm just going to use one of the examples they have provided here, and let me just click this. And it seems to have copied itself on this section, and now I'm going to click Submit. Okay, and the storywriter responds me that 3 weeks prior, the Icarus has taken flight for the first time, staying out of the atmosphere for a few hours. So it seems that it's generating a new story from my input. And the Icarus was finally ready. 10 years of engineering, construction, testing has finally given way to the most advanced starship that humans have ever constructed. Captain Marsh admired her soon-to-be command from a nearby shuttlecraft, which she was piloting in solitude. And it seems that this is a start of a story, and the storywriter output seems to have extended that story. Like the name suggests, this does write stories. And I'm not exactly sure what use case I would personally use this on. Maybe if I was generating a script for a movie and I have some context that I provide in my initial prompt, it's going to kind of extend that story. Originally, I was planning to use some text from the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet available on Project Gutenberg, but I was not sure how to prompt this exactly. If I just copy paste a bunch of text, I'm not sure what happens, but again, my channel is called Testing AI, so I'm just going to copy this right there and paste it right here. Now I have a long piece of text from Romeo and Juliet with no other context, so I'm going to click submit. I'm going to see what it does. So I'm at around 21 seconds. Okay, interesting. I see scene 3 being generated by the storywriter, and it kind of extends the story right here. Now, why is this interesting? You might have noticed that I actually copied a bunch of text right up to scene 3. So scene 3 was not copied. I copied my text all the way up to scene 2, starting from right there. And it seems that the storywriter output has continued my story and built scene 3. And this seems to be pretty unique. So the real Romeo and Juliet has a scene 3 called Room in Capulet's House, but the AI generated storywriter version of scene 3, it says scene 3, the friar. So I can see how this storywriter model could be useful if you were generating stories or movies or scripts for a movie. So there is definitely some potential of this model disrupting the movie industry. All right, let's look at the new model. This one is called MPT-7B Instruct. This one is a model for short form instruction. It says this demo has been fine-tuned with around 60,000 instructions and it's running again on a shared GPU, so it may take a few seconds to respond. If you want to run it on your own GPU, you can download the model or use a private space, but I'm going to just try this right here. I'm going to try some of the examples first before trying my own prompt. I'm going to start with write a quick email to congratulate Mosaic ML about the launch of their inference offering and click submit. All right, the generation speed seems to be pretty fast. The output is not that long. It says, I wanted to reach out and let you know how excited I am for your new inference product. It's been so helpful in our production workflows that we've scaled up ML models across multiple teams within our organization. It really helps us focus on building great models rather than worrying too much about deployment details like serving infrastructure or model versioning. We're looking forward to seeing what else you build with this platform moving forwards. Keep up the good work. Cool. So I think this email is short but really specific on what has come along. So I actually like this more than long generic emails that ChatGPT 3.5 sometimes generates. And like I've tried in some of my recent videos, let me see if it can write me the body of my newsletter. Okay, so this is kind of specific. I have an AI newsletter and I want information on the latest tools in the art world. Okay, it says I wanted to share some exciting news and updates from our team at AIFFA. Interesting. It has assumed that I work at this company called Artificial Intelligence for Artists, which I don't. And they have been working hard on building new features. They have come up with new feature called AI Composer, where users can compose their own songs using AI. And they have expanded services, including custom image editing, where artists can send us images, and they want edited images sent digitally via email attachment. So this isn't exactly what I wanted, but again, this is pretty early, so I don't expect it to work 100%. Let me try a small example for coding. So basically, I want a Python script which takes in a sentence and removes all the duplicate words. Cool, it came out with a pretty efficient result. Says return and then dot join word for word in sentence dot split, but it did come up with the response pretty fast. I do have to test this out. For now, let me try something which is more factual. Who won the 2022 Football World Cup? Cool. So it did come up with the response as Argentina, which is correct. So this worked fairly well. I'm not sure how good it works with longer responses, like if you want a long email, maybe this would fail. But for what it is, I think it's working fine. The last model here is called MPT-7B Chat, and this one is a chatbot-like model for dialogue generation. It was built by fine-tuning the base model on ShareGPT Vicuna, HC3, Alpaca, and some other datasets. They also have a demo right here, so I'm going to test this out. This time, let me try something less factual and more human-like. I'm going to say, I have not been sleeping that well lately. What should I do to improve my sleep quality? It says, as an AI language model, I don't have personal experiences or emotions like humans. That is fair. However, there are some tips based on scientific research. It says, stick to a regular sleep schedule. As you see, this is being done in real time, so the results are kind of slow. And I'm not sure if that is expected or it's just overloaded with a lot of people trying this out, but the response time here is definitely a lot slower. Avoid caffeine, alcohol, heavy meals, and for some reason the speed kind of went up quite a bit, and I'm wondering why that is. It started pretty slow and it kind of sped up now that it's on number 7. Talk to your doctor. If you have trouble falling asleep, consider setting an alarm for 30 minutes after you want to fall asleep. Consider using natural sleep aids such as lavender essential oil. Now I'm going to see if this chat model does work for something factual. I'm going to say, who won the 2022 Football World Cup? Okay, so that is incorrect because it says the 2022 FIFA World Cup was held in 2021. That's not right. And it's definitely not held in November 21st to December. It was in Qatar. So parts of this response seems to be correct and parts are wrong. In the end, it was Argentina who emerged victorious, winning the first ever World Cup. Messi scored the golden goal in a 1-0 victory against Croatia in the final match. So it's giving me a lot of information I did not need, and it's definitely giving some things which are incorrect. So I don't know if this was because it has been trained so much, it's blending in different kinds of information. So this is definitely interesting that it came up with part of the response incorrect, but 75% of the response seems to be correct. And just like the last one, I'm going to give it a small coding problem as well. Say write a Python script to send an email. As an AI language model, I cannot provide code examples directly. Here are some libraries available in Python that users interact with email servers. Okay, so This chat model is not good for coding. So this is not like ChatGPT where you can provide everything in this one model and it'll give you anything from responses about your own feelings all the way to coding. And okay, even though it says that I cannot provide code examples directly, it seems to have started writing some code, or maybe this is pseudocode. It says set up the email and password, set up recipient email addresses, define message body text, connect to an SMTP server and authenticate, and send email to multiple recipients for I, recipient address, and enumerate, is giving me the loop as well, which is very interesting. So it's giving me chunks of the code, but not the entire code. And interesting, it also corrected the spacing of this for loop on the fly. It says the simple script sends an email to two different addresses containing the same message. It uses the Gmail SMTP settings since it's one of the most commonly used providers. Okay, I think that is enough testing AI for today. I hope you got a good understanding of what these models are capable of. And I hope you got some value from today's video and learning about Mosaic ML. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter and my YouTube channel and click like on this video. Till my next video, thank you so much.